Another day of utter failure. I begin to stagger back to my room, burning in the afternoon sunlight that casts itself over the western edge of the giant walls that surround the city. Ororio is incredibly big, and walking around the entire city from dawn to dusk is tiring. And there hasn't been a single family willing to take me in yet. I ran to all the groups that had flyers posted on various street corners advertising openings for new members, but as soon as they compared me to the other applicants, I was rejected. I can hear laughter. A god and his followers walk side by side, happily talking about something. My lonely shadow seems to pin my feet to the ground, preventing me from moving. All I can do is look down. Finally, I force myself to move again and drag myself to the inn where I'm staying, my pathetic face painted red by the setting sun. Today is the third day of my stay, so I will ask about the extension. With the extension fee, it will be 2,500 valis. Wah! I say, surprised by the higher price. You only paid in advance for 3 days. That's one less room I plan to rent to other clients. You have to compensate for this difference. It's a fee for my work, the innkeeper explains brusquely. I think he's right. I take my coin purse from my backpack and leave almost all the remaining money on the counter. As the innkeeper pulls him towards him with his forearm, I turn and go to my room on the second floor. I decide to go to bed without dinner. Another day of disappointment. I look up at the wooden ceiling as I cover myself with the thin blanket on the bed. My money is about to run out. If I can't find a family willing to take me in for the next 3 days, I'll sleep outside. In every family headquarters I checked, the people who greeted me were adventurers. If I can't get them to take me seriously, my only other option is to appeal directly to the gods. Over the past few days, as I've walked around town, I've seen a few deities, but I've felt too intimidated to call out any of them and just shut up. Furthermore, they are almost always accompanied by a security guard. If I carelessly approach one, the only greeting I receive is a nasty look. I've won so many. The one time I met a god who seemed willing to let me into his family, he said something rather strange, on the condition that you become my personal toy, cutie. So I ran. That was a pretty scary encounter, though I'm still not sure why, and it's probably the reason I still find approaching the gods directly stressful. Is it possible to find a decent god? It got very dark outside while I was lost in my thoughts. I remember the words of the adventurer I spoke to at the city gates. He said that choosing a good god is where an adventurer really shows his skill. He also said it would be a matter of luck. Will I ever find a god who wants me? A family that will welcome me home? When I first came to Ororio, I was filled with so many feelings that I thought I was going to explode, so much hope, anticipation and excitement. But now all I feel is the cold in my hands and feet. A piece of ice has settled in my chest. Anxiety, loneliness, despair. This feeling of isolation is beyond anything I have experienced in my village. It's something I never felt even once when I lived with my grandfather. The only thing that comes close is the pain I felt when I lost him. For the first time, this vast birdcage of a city feels unbearably cold. Night has fallen, and the light of the city's magic stone lanterns flickers uncertainly. The ceiling I'm looking at is dark and indistinct in the darkness. Everything will be fine. Tomorrow. I'm sure everything will be fine tomorrow. However, do not come back. We don't have room for dead weight here. It was as if the world was mocking my futile attempts to comfort myself the night before. You, an adventurer. Try to come back as soon as you find a supporter to carry things. All I found waiting for me were cold stares and refusals. Try bringing some coins with you and maybe we'll consider it. Ha 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 ha. Before I knew it, 3 more days passed without finding a single family that would accept me. Thank you for hosting me the last few days, I said to the innkeeper behind the counter the morning I was supposed to check out of my room. I don't have any more money to pay, so the end result is obvious. As miserable as it is, I don't even bother looking up. I don't say anything else as I walk out the front entrance. Then, just as I'm about to close the door on my way out. Ah, hell. The innkeeper. who has just finished reading the news pamphlets behind the counter ruffles his hair in sudden consternation. At first I assume he's getting up because he's angry about something, but instead he reaches somewhere under the counter, then turns around and suddenly places it in front of me. Here, take this. Ha! He is holding a bag of rye bread. I hesitate to accept it only for the rude innkeeper to force it on me. Listen, kid. Be a little more skeptical from now on, okay? You won't make it any other way. His black hair is still bouncing as he gives me a stern warning. Then he turns his back to me as if to ward off any momentary emotion and closes the door behind him. As I look at the bag in my hands, I feel a sudden heat in the corners of my eyes for some reason I can't identify. I bow deeply toward the inn's closed door, holding tightly to the bag of bread. Time to go. Leaving behind the inn where I had spent the last 6 days, I set out. The sky above Orario is clear and blue again. The spring air is warm and pleasant. I find myself unconsciously in the shadows of the buildings that line the streets. After stopping and sitting in a quiet corner and eating the whole rye, I begin my search for families I haven't yet been rejected by. On many occasions, I pass adventurers with formidable equipment or beautiful clothes. They head towards the city center where, under that white tower, they can enter the vast labyrinth. There, in that lair of evil infested with monsters, they will live new stories of heroic adventures. The gods watch over the adventurers who embark on new legends while the townspeople eagerly await the stories of their travels. Today, like any other day, begins with the joy and smiles of countless people. Surrounded by those happy voices, I walk alone through the city. And after walking away from the 16th family, I finally collapsed exhausted on some corner. I lean against the wall of a building, my strength exhausted, staring at the passing pedestrian traffic on the street. Is there a place in this city for me? Is there anyone here who will even look at me? I feel as if the ground I stand on has been separated from the rest of the world. Footsteps and the clamor of the city seem distant, and no one seems to notice or care about my existence. It's like I'm a lost child, wandering alone through the city with no destination or home. The anxiety and loneliness are overwhelming. I came here to Orario looking for connections and ties. I couldn't resist the desire for heroism beyond my station, so I came to Labyrinth City. Not wanting to abandon the memories my grandfather left me, I came. But, the truth is, what I really wanted was. I stagger to my feet, my face haggard, my eyes hidden by my disheveled hair. Not knowing where I should go, I head into a dark alley to escape the busy avenue. Nobody pays attention to me. I'm alone. Hey! You there. The alleys are very dangerous, so I would stay away if I were you. That's why when someone calls me, I don't understand what's going on at first. Ha! I am absolutely, completely, absolutely sure of this, I will never forget this moment. Thank you, but, who are you? All alone in a place like this, did you miss it, by any chance? I guess you're the one looking lost here. Her appearance. Her voice. So, the problem is that I'm recruiting for my family. I happen to be looking for adventurers to join, so, the hand she extends to me. I will participate. Please let me in. Seriously, will you? Even if it's my family? She asks with a smile when I hold her hand. My name is Hestia. What is yours? The warmth of the voice that asks my name. It's Belle. Belle Cranel. The joy that fills this moment makes me want to cry. I will remember every detail for the rest of my life. I met a goddess. Here in these streets full of encounters and farewells, in the labyrinth city where adventure stories begin every day, in this place where heroes are born, I found a single goddess. This is your story. My story, I'm sure, began on this day. The day our family began.